Today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite thing, and that is tacos. I'm Brian Rump,
And I'm Matt Garrity from Matty G Digital.
and this is the Kawartha Small Business Podcast. We have business conversations for the Kawartha commute. This episode is sponsored by Starting Point Digital Marketing. Your business deserves to have great digital marketing that works and is affordable. So check out startingpointdigitalmarketing.ca. All right, Matt, do you like tacos?
I do. There's two things in this world that I love. They're marketing and tacos.
All right, awesome. So you love tacos, which is great. So we're going to walk through today. So we're talking about tacos, but we're also going to be talking about a framework that you refer to as my love child, which is the Story Brand framework. That is the sort of shtick of Donald Miller, who is marketing. They have a Story Brand workshop that I've taken. Anyway, I really love it for any business, but especially small businesses. So that framework is related to both structuring your business and business strategy, but also your marketing, and it can help you create your marketing strategy. So check out StoryBrand, obviously, but we're going to walk through it a little bit and talk about the elements of story and how they relate to tacos. Is this logical to you so far, Matt, or are you just curious as to how I'm going to link tacos to stories?
Oh, yeah, this makes no sense whatsoever, but I've known you long enough to
Awesome.
know you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, that's good. So everyone's a little bit confused. They're wondering what's going to happen. So we're going to talk about stories and tacos. And before I get to that, we're going to talk a little bit about movies. So I know we tried to prepare for this,
Turn
that
this podcast.
Matt loves obscure movies.
Everyone's just like, Brian's talking about tacos. He's talking about Love Child. He's not talking about movies. And then you said obscure
I
movies.
know.
I named three movies that are incredibly popular, one of which won a Best Picture Oscar, and the other two were nominated. Anyways, go ahead.
It's true, except I haven't watched them recently, so I can't work my magic as much with them. So we're going to talk a little bit about movies, and this is easier with mainstream movies. So if you think of movies that are always on TV, and you know how you're like, flipping through the channels. I guess you don't have TV and a movie's on and you get suckered into that. Like maybe you're visiting a hotel or something and you're like, oh, I'm going to go walk around this afternoon. And then you turn the TV on and you're like, oh, looks like I'm watching movies now. Um, all of those movies follow a element of story. So some examples, I'll let you pick one. We have something like Star Wars, some classic Star Wars: A New Hope, The Bourne Identity with Jason Bourne, Billy Madison, which is I know one of the classics.
Yeah,
Tommy Boy,
let's stop there.
another one.
Let's go Billy Madison.
All right,
I want to go Billy
all
Madison.
right, Billy. All right, Billy Madison. Okay, so in any movie we have a hero. So in Billy Madison, who's our hero?
The Penguin.
It's not
The
quite the penguin. The penguin plays a role. The swan. Stop looking at me, swan. But Billy is our hero, and heroes want something, and usually they start with a problem. They want something. So what in the movie? What does Billy want?
respect of
What does
his
he come to
father.
want? He wants the respect of his father, right? So Billy has a problem. He wants the respect of his father. He has to get the respect of his father. So typically we have our hero, he's party animal, doesn't really have a purpose in life. He's got some funny friends, but they're not really mature. But he's got a problem, which is He wants the respect of his father. There's an internal problem for that, which is he, that doesn't make him feel good, right? He's not going to get the company. Eric's going to get the company, right? So that, becomes a problem. Eric is the villain. And the philosophical problem in this is that he should, be able to have that respect of his father. He should be able to be competent enough to get through school on his own. So our character has a problem. He meets a guide. Do you know who the guide would be in Billy Madison?
Ooh,
The penguin?
that's a good question. It's the Swan again.
So
Stop looking at me, Swan.
sometimes there's multiple guides that sort of guide our character along the way, right? The movie isn't about, if there's no conflict in a movie, there's no point for the movie, right? If the movie was just about Billy drinking beer all day and cracking jokes, yeah, we may watch it and laugh, but we're not going to watch it every, Sunday 3 times a year when it comes on, right? We're not getting sucked into the story. So the character meets a guide. So the guide in Billy Madison, there's probably a few who play it, but one would be, I'm drawing a blank now on his name. Not Eric, but the other guy who is his dad's business partner, who helps him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not Eric. It's the other guy, which I had earlier today, but I don't. But anyway, he is. So he is the guide. His maid is a guide a bit. Veronica Vaughn plays a bit of a guide role. So, we start having a few multiple story loops, right? So Billy wants to then, he wants to get the company, he wants to pass school, he wants to get the girl. So the guy gives them a plan, right? So this guy has some empathy, some authority. The guy's always liked Billy. He sees him as a good kid. He's, one of his dad's top guys, so he knows how to run a business. He knows what it takes to run, the hotel empire. And he gives him a plan, right? So that plan is he's going to go back to school, kindergarten through grade 12, and he's going to pass it all on his own, 2 weeks each. What do you think so far?
Yeah, his name's Carl. His name's Carl. I'm checking out the cast of Billy Madison now. It's like Carl, yeah.
So Carl gives him a plan, right? And that plan, calls him to action. So he has to enroll in school and, pitch this plan to his dad to earn his dad's respect. And along the way, we have every scene, in a good movie, it either challenges him and brings him away from his goal, right? He runs away from school because the other kids make fun of him because he can't print on the chalkboard. He, gets bullied when he gets into high school, or it moves him ahead, right? He, reads well. He does some good crafts. He meets some good friends. So each scene is either moving him towards or away from that goal. We have an obligatory scene, so everyone knows how this movie is going to end. He's going to somehow get the respect of his father. We're going to resolve some subplots in that. So we have to call them, he gets called to action and he goes to successful results. And if he fails along the way, there's something at stake. And those stakes are he, fails out of school, he doesn't get the company, he just becomes sort of a loser for the rest of his life. And throughout the movie, he experiences an identity transformation. So, what does this have to do with tacos?
This movie's much deeper than I recall it being, Brian.
I know, right? So it's funny because, sometimes we look at these movies and like, oh, these are stupid, but they're made from a script. They're made under a framework. And the framework of story has been around for all of time, right? We talk about heroes, we talk about, challenges, villains. The movie isn't about, again, Billy just drinking every day. There has to be something interesting that happens. So a business is like a story. But who's the character in the story of a business? Typically, I know you know the answer to this, the real answer.
I know the real answer, but I'm going to say what you want me to say, which is the small business owner.
Yeah, so often we position our business as the hero. So you see it all the time. Hey, look at us. We have 30 years experience. My grandfather started the company. And really that's kind of a boring story. Nobody tunes into Billy Madison to hear about Carl, um, and all his background. Maybe once we get to know him, we want to learn more. So there is a place for that type of thing. But, you know, the hero in the story needs to be your customer. Batman's not rolling around Gotham looking for another Batman to high five with, right? Nobody's watching that movie. Or if they make that movie, it's bombing at the box office and everyone sits around wondering why. But heroes, they want to be the hero in their story, and they have problems, right? There's usually an external problem and an internal of how they feel. So typically, small businesses sell solutions to external problems, but people buy solutions to internal problems. So they want to, feel something, they want to transform a little bit. And they don't do that until they meet a guide who shows them how to do it. So the business needs to be the guide, and they need to show that hero how to win the day, how to be that hero. So the concept of story brand is really following that framework where us as the business owner is the guide, and we're inviting our hero or our customer into the story where they are the hero. And we are going to give them a plan to transform into what they want to be. So if we look at Matty G Digital, Matty G isn't the hero who made your business awesome. You're the hero for hiring Matty G, who then has put together a great marketing plan and done some great marketing for you that allows you to be the successful business owner with great marketing for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am just the guide helping someone along the path. It makes me think about a lot of conversations I've had recently with someone, even like a couple days ago, talking to someone that's a ad specialist, and we're having some questions about account that we may work on. And there's going to be a lot of issues. Like, yeah, we can set up a great ad campaign, but the person that we're working with, her pricing is like $10 more per product than all of our competitors online. And it's an e-commerce purchase, and we can drive a bunch of traffic to the site, or we can have our ad show up a whole bunch. People aren't going to click on it because she's overpriced. And the ad specialist said to me, we can do the ads, but we can't fix her business, and we can't do a business plan for her. So what I'm trying to say basically is, like, yes, a marketer is a guide from a marketing perspective, but we can't come in and save the business. The business owner ultimately needs to go and do that.
Yeah, and they have to be that guide, or they have to be the hero who's or they're a hero for their own business, but they have to be the guide for their customer and invite them into that story. And that story has to make sense. So if you're way overpriced by a lot and you can't invite someone into the story where it makes sense for them to pay that, then you're not gonna win.
Sure.
But I want to talk about tacos. So how does this relate to tacos? For those watching us on the YouTube, you'll notice I've been drinking a coffee this morning from North Ward Coffee Co. And North Ward Coffee Co. is part of the conglomerate of Fresh Fuel and Amigos Tacos. So I want to talk about tacos in the context of Amigos Tacos. Now we're going to walk through this a little bit, and I have permission from Amigos Tacos to talk about them, but I will preface to say I haven't gone through this with them, and we're just going to talk generics, not the specifics of that specific business. But do you know about Amigos Tacos, Matt?
I'm more familiar with Amigo Street Tacos. I was just checking out their name on social. And like
Oh,
there's
okay.
a street in there just put in just to mess you up. But yeah,
There is
Amigo
a
Street
street in there?
Tacos.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I've had them a number of times. It was when they first launched before Christmas time. I think every time I've had the carnitas, which have been fantastic, they are extremely unique to at least Kawartha Lakes, especially Lindsay, of course. The corn tortilla is much different than what most people are probably going to be used to. They're very good. The salsa, I think everything's homemade, but the salsa is like a standout. The meat is fantastic. Highly recommend.
Awesome. So in our story, Maddie G is going to be our character. So Maddie G, I call this story Maddie G and the Tacos, which obviously who doesn't want to hear this story? Um, so
Great.
Maddie G and the Tacos, you're a character. So tell us about Maddie G.
I'm very hungry, or you know what? I meal plan. So this
You're
is not
hungry.
like an immediate impulse purchase, but I am thinking ahead for the weekend. Tacos to me are like a fun thing. I want to do that on the weekend, probably a Friday night. It's like a quick pickup, or even Saturday night. So I'm thinking ahead of
Yeah. So you,
a sort of fun dinner for the weekend.
yeah, fun dinner for the weekend. So you have a family, right? Married. You have two kids. Do your kids like having fun dinners?
Kids love Taco Tuesday.
Now, in your house, who Yeah. In your house, who does the majority of the cooking?
My wife does.
Okay. Yeah. So that's say typical. So, Matt, wife does most of the cooking. Weeks are long. Does your wife ever get tired on Friday nights?
Often, regularly.
Yeah. So so Matt has a problem, right? Matt's problem is it's the end of the week. His wife is tired. She usually does the cooking. He does like to plan. He wants to have fun with his family, right? Matt works hard during the day and the week, but I know likes to have a lot of fun with his family at night. He wants to feel like a good dad. He wants to feel like a good husband who's not expecting his spouse to always be um, like making dinner all the time. He doesn't want to have to cook and clean up and plan everything. Friday nights should be for family fun, right? So that's the philosophical problem. So now our character who has a problem meets a guide. So that guide is Amigos Street Tacos. They've got some empathy, right? They get it. They get that Fridays you should just have to pick up your dinner. It should be fun. You shouldn't have to clean up from it. It should be fresh, homemade, high quality. And they have some authority, right? Lewis is the street taco connoisseur. Um, Years of experience making these tacos, best guacamole in town, best salsa, corn tortillas, which are different, right? It's got some authority around tacos. And your guide's going to give you a plan. So that plan, and what I love about their business model is on Tuesdays, they're going to send out an email, or they're going to have some social posting about, hey, order your tacos for Friday night. So all you have to do from that plan is respond to that email or send them an email. Hey, I would like tacos. All you have to include in that is what kind of tacos would you like? You can have sort of the beef, pork, vegetable, how many kits you want, and how much guacamole do you want to have. Um, I joked with them about what monster doesn't order guacamole, but apparently there are clients and people who do not order the guacamole. I don't get it. But I love this. We have Matty G wants to be a great dad, a good husband. He wants to be the hero, right? Look at me. I have a problem. Well, fun Friday night. Family's tired. We don't want to have to cook or clean. We want to eat amazing stuff, have lots of fun. I meet Amigo Street Tacos, who they get it. They have a family too. They want you to have fun. They're the experts in tacos. They give you a simple plan that calls you to action. So here's your plan. Tell me what you want. You'll come and pick it up. If you don't want it, guess what? We're going to be here next week too. So you can, order those tacos, another time. But we are going to be here and we're going to lead you to success. So that success is you being the hero, walking through the door with that box full of delicious tacos. Your kids are going to love you. Your wife's going to love you. Everyone loves those tacos. If you don't do business with them, there's some stakes here and there's some tragic results that could happen. You could not be eating tacos. You could end up having that everyone's tired at the end of the week meltdown because you didn't plan what supper was going to be. Or now you're washing dishes at 8:00 on a Friday night when you could be watching a movie. So this, it's like a story, right? And our obligatory scene in that story is the family sitting around eating those tacos.
Yeah. And I guess if we're talking about the original, how am I the hero, or how do I, what do I want to ultimately achieve? And that's love and respect for my children. Like if I don't come home with those tacos, my wife might not love me. My children may not respect me. There are very high stakes in this.
Yep. Yeah, there are. These are high stakes, right? Who doesn't love, tacos? Tacos make you the hero here. So, if I'm Amigo Street Tacos doing my marketing, I'm inviting my customer into a story where they are that hero. I'm giving them a plan of what to do. It's a clear plan. It's an easy plan to follow. And then in my marketing, I'm either showing them how they are the hero and transforming, or I show them what's at stake in this story that they're in. So every piece of marketing is a scene in the story where they're either moving towards the goal or away from their tragic results.
Yeah, and I love this from a marketing perspective. It's because you would typically have people say or be talking about, wow, these tacos taste so good, or such high quality.
No one cares how much they.
Yeah, high quality tacos, or we've been cooking tacos for X amount of years. Dude, no one cares from a marketing perspective. Everyone says they have the best thing, the best tasting thing. Everyone's got experience. Those aren't unique factors from a marketing perspective. What you just walked me through, I kind of thought this whole conversation was going to be so dumb, and maybe it was, but I got so much out of it where I recognized there's actually a pretty brilliant story to be told from a marketing perspective. Now you're talking about, like you said, the stakes, or how can you be the hero of, hey, it's a fun meal. It's a meal that you're not having to clean up. It's a delicious meal, but all these other things are a part of it. It's fun family time that you don't need to worry, plan, or clean up. That's brilliant. That's much better than we've got great
Yeah.
tacos and I've been cooking tacos for years.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other part is we have a plan and a call to action, which is email us and order tacos Friday. It's not, hey, figure out that we have good tacos and then that maybe sometime you should figure out how to buy these tacos from us. And sort of float around. It's direct and I love it. And StoryBrand works, right? It's a proven framework. It works for businesses. And we've just walked through a story where a marketer now has, ideas and copy for days of like stuff they could do and work with it, which is great. And lots of fun for us. Any final thoughts on that? We're almost to the end of our commute.
Yeah, I'm going to derail this really quickly, but I want to bring this back to Billy Madison and mention one of the best quotes in movie history, and I'll wrap this up.
Awesome.
What you've just said, one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. That describes maybe this podcast, our podcast as a whole, but I think that summarizes it.
That is awesome, and that sounds like a conversation to me. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want us to help do this for your business, send us an email, set it up at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca.